From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an NBA draft update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Brett Dawson. Brett, this should just be called a Trae Young update because obviously Trae Young, local guy, Norman North product, OU product, expected to be a first-round draft pick and extend Oklahoma's run of athletes picked in the first round of a professional sports draft on Thursday night. But what's sort of the sense of the range of where Trae could be picked? Because first round is assured, I think most people would agree, but where is a little bit up in the air, it seems like.
Well, he's not going to follow in Baker Mayfield's footsteps. He won't go #1 in this draft. That'll probably be DeAndre Ayton. If it's not, it'll be Luka Doncic. But I think there's a range that extends maybe as high as 3 to the Atlanta Hawks. That's probably a stretch, but that's a team that might examine him as a point guard option. And then you kind of jump down in 3s, 6 to Orlando, to the Magic. That's a really popular spot in terms of mock drafts. And the place I don't think he'll probably fall below, most likely not going to fall below 9 to the Knicks. I think if he's there for New York, a team that has famously for years and years lamented how close it was to the chance to draft Steph Curry, I don't think it's going to pass on a chance to get another player who theoretically could be similar. You know,
when you mention the teams that you've mentioned, it seems like Trae Young is going to be going to a team where he's going to have to play pretty quickly. He's going to be on the court. They're going to be expecting a lot of things out of him. And wins may be in short supply. Is that your sense of the type of team he's likely to fall to?
Most likely. Okay. I mean, I think the odds are that he's going to be in a situation where they're going to be expecting him to come in and be the point guard. And, you know, we know what it's like for rookie point guards in the NBA. It's a struggle. The team is probably going to have some struggles. You know, New York has some interesting sort of point guard options. Orlando has some pieces that are okay. We've seen, you know, we saw the Magic beat the Thunder this past season, and they kind of played in spurts where they were a pretty good team because they have some young talent. They need a point guard to kind of put that stuff together. So, you know, maybe if he ends up in Orlando, we could see them make a significant improvement. Probably not good enough to get into the playoffs, but we could see him make an impact right away. But yeah, there will be some other situations where I think he's going to be on a team that is struggling to win 20 games. That might be the case if he goes to New York and Porzingis isn't there, if he falls into the range of, you know, somewhere in between any of those teams. All these teams, you know, they're in the lottery for a reason. There's not really a team that snuck into the lottery this year. You know, Philadelphia is going to be there, and if he falls to 10, Philly might be a place that would look at him. But I think for the most part, you're looking at him being in a pretty rocky situation, and the adjustment will be difficult, not just to losing, but, you know, physically for a guy like him. The NBA is a big jump, so he's going to have an interesting rookie year.
Well, you mentioned him physically, and that's been one of the points that people out there that are monitoring, you know, what teams are saying, what the sense of these draftable players is. You know, that's one of the things about Trae Young that's really a question mark at this point. He's been described with a lot of superlatives, you know, most dynamic, but maybe, you know, most troubling when it comes to his physicality and his defense. Seems like there's a lot of different opinions on Trae Young.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, other than maybe Luka Doncic, who probably will be the second player taken in the draft, he might be the guy who's got just the widest range of opinions. There are people who will tell you, like, well, he's so small and we want bigger guards because of the switchability. There are other people who say, you know, he's deceptively pretty strong. If you look at Steph Curry, you know, the interesting thing about him is, like, if you talk to people who really scout the league, they'll tell you you're always looking for kind of a best case and worst case scenario. What's the guy's floor? What's his ceiling? And the interesting thing about a guy like Trae is there's really only one guy in the NBA who plays like him. That's Steph Curry, and Steph is one of the all-time greats. He's the greatest shooter in the history of the league. So the odds are that Trae is not going to replicate his career. Now, there's a guy like Damian Lillard who's a little bit similar, bigger, more physical guy at that height. So he's going to have to get more physical. He's going to have to improve in some areas. He's also got to show some people that second half kind of swoon that OU had and he sort of had along with it was more a product of the attention defenses were paying to him and not sort of a lack of durability on his part.
Yeah, lots of questions, but I think you're right. I don't think we're going to see Trae Young long in this draft, but sort of the polarizing figure that he became in college basketball, I think that's kind of followed the narrative that we're seeing with him as it relates to the NBA draft. Thursday night, 6 o'clock, it all starts, so be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.